technically like acid.
Join someone you don't know.
Like Bush said.
Eat something fresh.
See, that thing's very experiment.
All right, well, welcome everybody. Welcome back to Fitchburg Focus. My name is Brandon Rounds. You all should know me. Director of Partnerships and Events here at the Fitchburg Chamber. This is our new format. So we've switched from doing Fitchburg Focus over the lunch hour to doing it back in the morning again. Seems to be that's what kind of people wanted to do. So we'll look out for those dates. We're going to be doing it approximately every other month. So we'll have speakers focused on Fitchburg Focus. So then we'll do some presentations at the beginning so you guys kind of see what's going on. So to start off, we're going to talk about our sponsors. So thank you to our corporate sponsors. This year we have MGE, Park Bank, and Group Health Cooperative. Also, thank you to Wyndham Garden for hosting us here today in this space. And then shout out to Fat TV, which is being recorded. Thank you, Scott. And then a special shout out to Quick Trip for providing the donuts. So please help yourself to the donuts because I do not want to take them back to the office. Right now, we are now working on the 2025 Community Guide. We print 10,000 copies of this, and it does get distributed throughout the city of Madison, throughout the city of Fitchburg. And we are doing community guide ads. So if you're interested in a low-cost ad to be placed in this guide, please reach out to me. You can see me afterwards, or you can email me, brandon@fitchburgchamber.com. We'll get you your guide ads. But now we have the main event. So I'm going to introduce our next speakers from MadREP. We're excited to have Jason and Masha. That's right. So please make some noise for them as they come up and speak.
Good morning, everyone. I may be a little tired. Masha, you don't have to stand up for this because I'm going to bring her up right away because you all don't want to hear me and see my ugly mug for more than 10 minutes. So good morning. First off, shout out to Fitchburg Chamber. The team here, thank you for consistently inviting us. I have to give a shout out to Joyce and Mike from the city and the wonderful economic development stuff that they're doing. And so basically what we want to go over really quickly is I'm going to introduce and bring up our new Director of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, who's much smarter than me, TEDx speaker. How many #1 best-selling books have you written? Four? I thought it was 1 or 2. She has 4. That's insane. So really quickly, a little bit of things about us. MadREP, we're the Regional Economic Development Organization. We partner with individuals across the state. There are 9 regions. We are region number 7. And what I want to give you today is a little bit about just the lay of the land, a sort of analysis, and then have Masha come up and talk about potential opportunities and things you should be looking for. We're an 8-county region. We cover roughly over 1 million residents in eight counties. You can see that there. And what we ended up doing was, so I was hired in 2021, and part of the game plan was to come and look at what did our region need, and from an organizational standpoint, really dive deep into what's the MadREP value added proposition. And so I got to be honest, it took me 3 freaking years to really get to this stuff. And now we're starting to make some changes where we can look at partnering with you all as far as programs and things that what we found to be important. What we did was we went across every county in our region and we held a SWOT analysis for each county. And a couple of things that we kept hearing about was childcare, transportation, housing, and then also workforce development. And so what we looked at doing was, okay, how do we take all those strategies and make it into one regional strategic approach? And by the federal government, we're designated to do this, and that comes up with our comprehensive economic development strategy. And so what we found after bringing a number of key people to the table and doing a 2-day seminar, doing our 2-day work session, 8 days of going around the county, these were some of the items that we came up with from some of the private sector, public sector individuals that we needed to, not necessarily MadREP would work on these items alone, but as a coalition, we would work together. One of the things that we have to get over here particularly is the silos that we all have. Because if we want to compete, you all, we have to get out of this, and Joyce is very good at making sure we remember this. We have to get out of this mindset that it's Dane County versus Columbia versus Jefferson versus South. That's not it. The competition is us versus North Carolina Research Triangle. It's us versus Boston. It's us versus the rest of the world. And so what MadREP tries to do is say, okay, how can we all be different, but yet at the same time work together as a team? And so that developed into this strategy where we're looking at reducing workforce barriers, accelerating strategic business growth, cultivating strong talent development and retention, because many of you know what happens is Dane County, a little bit of outlier because we have the schools. Masha's an instructor at Madison College. What we see particularly is that we have young people here, but then they don't stay. We have talent that comes here, whether it's people of color, African American, Latino, what have you. They come here, but they don't stay. And so we have to look at the strategy on what do we need to do to continue to make sure that this region is competitive. And dare I say, I believe out of the 9 regions, we are the most growth one. We're probably the big boy on campus, because when you look at the population trends, ours is growing. In fact, I think UPS and U-Haul did a study, and what you saw was more trucks and people moving into our region as compared to some of the other areas where they're losing population. So opportunities for small business. You all know we've had some elections, both on the federal and state level. And regardless of how you feel about anybody, I'm a former recovering politician, you all. So I make this disclaimer. If I screwed you over, I'm sorry, right? It was party politics. So what I want to warn you, or not warn, but address is that before the elections come, we had ARPA dollars, Inflation Reduction Act dollars. Now, my political intuition will tell you all that a lot of these things may change because now you have new administrations and new people coming to the table. And so ultimately that means, and I'm going to speak off the cuff here as a politician, you have people that want to make names for themselves. And so there will be some people that says, well, we don't like the fact that we handed out over $12 million in small business grants, but we can't measure the return on those. So you probably may not see that again, right? And so for you all, what I would advise and suggest is, as a small business owner, entrepreneur, or whatever company you have, now is the time to start getting close to elected officials on both the federal, state, and local levels. Because you will need to be in front of the curve when you start to see what kind of programs may come out. From a municipal level, one of the things that we tried to do was there's a cap on TIF dollars. Am I right, Joyce and Mike? Meaning you can only, is it 12 and 35? 12% of equalized value. What we've heard a lot is that when communities want to grow, AKA hire people like you to come in and do business, whatever, expansion projects, they can't because there's a cap on that. Well, politically, that was held up by one person. And he's a cool guy. I mean, it was just politics. It was held up by one person. That person will not be in the legislature anymore. So the discussion now is, will there be policy initiatives where municipalities like Fitchburg can now look at extra capacity to grow and expand and build opportunities for people like you all to come and do business? So what we want to do is keep an eye on that. Again, we did in Fitchburg, Kathy Kuntz, who's one of the directors at the county, this was the federal funding's opportunity for going green. I want to say it was the Inflation Reduction Act. It was roughly billions of dollars that a lot of small business owners didn't know about. I think that's still in play, but what I would suggest you all is take a look at some of the resources and we can get that to you. Because again, when you're looking at executive changes, governmental changes, who knows how long that will be there. And that was a lot of money, you all. I mean, it was a crazy, absurd amount of money for businesses like you all to get in, learn to reduce costs, go green, and take a number of advantages of these particular funds that may develop, tax credits, what have you. But again, what we heard from the federal government is, Jason, we want to try to get this money out the door, before election changes, we are where we are now. And so, you know, my instincts would tell you, take a look at it. If there is something there, I would propose or suggest you get started now, because you don't know how long these kinds of programs will stay there. Does that make sense? Yeah, no? Okay. My wife is a teacher, so she's rubbing off on me. State and local funding, WDC, and you're going to talk a little bit about this, right? So what I'll do is bring up Masha Pavlova, our new Enterprise Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, to go over particularly, I'll do this. I don't know if you all know that the NFL draft will be here. And so again, we'll get some of this to you, Catherine, Angela, Megan, Brandon, about opportunities there where maybe your businesses can participate in the NFL draft in Green Bay. There's some marketing and there are programs that is coming up. What we'll do is make sure we get that to you so you all can see what that looks like. And then some of the WDC state programs, and then getting involved in Madison Public Market. But for this presentation that Masha is going to give you all, a couple of things I want you to be aware of. Number one, timing is impeccable. If you can get ahead of the curve and start seeing some of these resources, get engaged. Number two, what we're also looking at is there tends to be a more robust discussion around how do we make sure people are hiring and keeping good talent. And so that's some of the programs and some of the things that you all were going to be focused on. There's also dollars for you to hire people, particularly in the state Wisconsin Fast Forward Grant Program. Depending on who you hire, there are dollars. You have to partner with a nonprofit, but there are dollars for you to bring on people to your organization, and we'll make sure we get that to you. All right, Masha.
All right. Let me make sure that my mic is on. All right, all right. Hello, everybody. It is such an honor to be here. So this is actually my first event back in this region because for the last couple of years I've been working online and nationally and internationally. And so when Jason talks about the silos, it really is groundbreaking when you can see that across the board we are competing with more so our own, our own mind, right? What is holding you back? What is holding you back from taking actions on some of the things presented, and some of the things that you hear about out there is the second part is again that access to the resources. So I've seen people that have amazing progress, and wherever they are, they're able to take actions and move forward with that. So our goal is to create to bring you the resources from. Sorry, I'm going to just take a quick break here, a quick breath. It's been a little bit of a morning. So, all right. So with the resources we're bringing to you, it's basically anything that. I'm so sorry. Wow. I'll be a little bit vulnerable here. So, Jason mentioned I have a TEDx coming up. So they've been sending us all of the things of how to prepare, and they just sent us a photo of the stage. And so the nerves have been really, really, really high. And so I think my body is just reacting, and it's like, so just in the preparation for that. So thank you for your grace. So with the state and local funding, one of the biggest resources is the WEDC. On that website, you'll be able to find all of the updated things. In fact, we actually sent in a new updated slideshow because they just posted brand new resources as of a few days ago. And again, we want to act on these really fast because things are changing in the government. And so the resources that are currently available might not be there for very long, so you want to make sure to take a look at those right away. So one of the key things that just came out is this conference, which is going to be December 10th, is going to be a virtual part of it, and that's going to be around the Contracting Academy. What they're going to be talking about is being able to understand how do you get contracted by the government. So these are going to be some really massive opportunities for small business owners to be able to interact and engage with monies that are on the table that have to get used. And how do you get contracted? How do you get on those lists? And how do you engage your business in that kind of work? Followed by the in-person. Now this is going to be in Milwaukee, but December 11th to December 12th is going to be in person at the Baird Center in Milwaukee. And that conference is for business owners who are minorities, so women, veterans, LGBTQIA+, and people with disabilities. You get to learn, you get to connect with resources. They're actually going to bring people who are going to not only train you, but be able to actually invest in your business as well. So be sure to check that out. Take a quick snapshot of this slide, because that website at the bottom is going to be a great resource for you. Or write it down. I'll give you guys just a second. That's marketplacewisconsin.com. All right. And then from that same, this is something I'm personally really excited about, from that same website. So one of the things that I've observed is that there is a difference in the access of resources to some really big level corporations and businesses to what we get on a smaller business side. And so what they're developing is they've developed a tool that essentially does what everybody else already on a big scale has access to. So this is research and data that is collected that allows you to measure your own business success against everything else that's out there, both in our region and nationwide. It allows us to discover any potential new clients, and then it also allows us to optimize our advertising and marketing to where the dollars are actually being spent. So I'll go to the next slide. It still has the website there. But this is what it looks like. So it's very, very simple. All you do is you put in your business, your industry, and your location, and it's going to literally bring up the map of all of the data and information. So it can allow you to make really informed decisions about where do you place your dollars, where your customers are, how your business actually ranks in your industry and across the board. So again, that's wedc.com, and you'll see the build your small business insights. So be sure to check out that tool. It is amazing. Now, this one is personally really near and dear to my heart. This is a program this is one of actually the reasons that I'm stepping into this work, because Jason touched base a little bit about the fact that our youth, we have amazing programs for them to learn, but we don't have a lot of opportunities for them to stay or a lot of incentives for them to stay. And so what we're seeing is we are seeing a lot of phasing out for businesses where there's not a lot of connection, there's this big gap. And so what this is the Pathways Programs of Wisconsin is an opportunity to provide all of the resources and tools for youth to be able to understand what it is that they need to do to get to the next level, not waste a lot of their time, not waste a lot of their efforts, because it's very, very specific to what it is that they would like to do. But then on the back end, it actually connects them to businesses like yours. So to businesses in the industry that they're really excited and passionate about going through. And it taps into whether they choose to continue with school or not. It allows them to have the resources they need to move forward with the mentorship of people who are in the industries. So from the business side, there are a lot of benefits to you. And actually, we'll see if we can play the video a little bit about it. But from the back-end business perspective, I feel like everyone has had so much experience. I feel like I was thinking about what to say this morning, and I was, going to go into a few stories and about, here's some information. But the reality is that we have an information overload. All of you know so much. There's so much value to everything that you bring. And what this program does is it's an opportunity to share and pass that forward to the next generation and link that gap so you have a reason to stay and help them expand their futures and help you expand your business, your ideas, your vision, your missions. So it's a everybody wins scenario. So we'll see if we can make this video work here.
The work that we're seeing in Pathways is incredible, linking the future of work to what students need to know now and how they can add value at each stage of evolution.
So we need people, we need a pipeline of talent, and we want a pipeline of diverse talent.
So students really need a clear outline of what a career trajectory looks like, what an educational path looks like.
Providing Pathways just kind of makes it more realistic and actualizes it in their mind. So the more you can provide that type of framework of thinking, the more chances of success the individual will have.
There is an intentional way of getting there, and you have direct contact and direct knowledge that's helpful before you even get there.
Having them get a taste for a couple of maybe college classes, they'll be more likely to then pursue that degree.
Instilling and creating the fire of learning inside of a student will help them in the long run.
You build pathways into skill building and introducing young people to the current existing careers.
Pathways becomes a vehicle and a way for us all to come together to really leverage opportunities for our students. And it's a great opportunity for K-12 and communities to be working together to support workforce development.
Employers are wanting to be a part, and colleges are finding that employers are needed, and so bringing those two components together has been quite important.
Our world is changing. Our students and children today have a bright future. We owe this to them.
So what this means for you as a business, and additionally, is not only do you get to help youth on their journey, you also get to think about it from perspective of your own marketing. What does your business and your brand stand for? How can this benefit and build out your mission and vision through supporting the youth? So the opportunity to proactively engage in the educational community is a huge part of it. The direct enhancement of the careers, so you actually get to help build this out by participating in this. And of course, connecting with the future workforce, because as they grow up, they're going to continue hopefully staying with us and working alongside of all of the amazing businesses here. And so what that can look like is there's a couple of different ways to get involved. There's virtual job shadowing. There's help creating post-virtual job shadowing events, supporting connecting with schools, so many different things. I'm not even going to talk about the list for a second. It's really how much time you want to put in. So if you want to get really, really invested, you can be, but it could also be as simple as building out a profile on there and being able to interact with the inquiries that are coming in. So it doesn't have to be a huge load on your shoulders unless you really, really want to engage and help us build this out. And even if it's just on the simple level of putting your business out there in this program, it will be a huge, huge support, as well as great for your own brand and your own mission and vision. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to contact me. So my information is right there. We also have the RCP coordinator on the screen as well. And so this is one of the best opportunities that I've got really excited about. And if you have questions, yes?
What types of businesses are already signed up? Are they vocational type or are they technical type?
That is a really, really great question. Thank you for asking. So there are a number of different pathways that are included. There were some of the original ones that have been expanded based on what the market is looking for. But essentially, it's anybody at this point because it really depends on where the student wants to go. So if the student is, for example, I went to school for graphic design and photography to start, and at that time, I wasn't able to find locations that I could work as a photographer. I'm finding that with my students right now is some of them want to work in the private sector, some of them want to do contract work, some of them want to work for small business, some of them want to work in the corporate world. So being able to have a large portfolio of versatile businesses is going to be a really huge benefit for the students. And it really allows them to integrate in what they feel comfortable. One of the biggest challenges I think we have is we've painted a picture of what success looks like, what leadership looks like, and what this allows us to do is really show them the different facets that they may not have been seeing in their life before, or seen as an opportunity to go before. And so having a versatile, both from an industry perspective and a size perspective, having a versatile array of options would be very, very good.
So you have a number of corporate companies like UW Health to small businesses, 6 industries that we watch: agriculture, food and beverage, information communication technology, healthcare, bioscience. So what we really try to do is partner the student with the right businesses, because one of the things you want to do is, and I don't want to belittle Gen X, or what are they, Gen X? What are they, Gen X, Gen Y? I have no idea. They're a different breed. You got to be patient, extend some grace. But when you find the right one, they're dynamite. They're dynamic. They're fast, they're smart, they're strong. And I would also caution you, look at the return time and investment if you work with some of these young folks. Their ability to work with tech and scale your business is insane. And so We really try to look at the organization, the company, and partner with the right student.
Great. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, that's what we got. So be sure to check out those resources. Keep an eye out. We're going to be developing some really incredible business tools for you, and just excited to serve the community.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
One more, I'm sorry. So I believe we are looking at, and Joyce and Mike, I think Kate from Middleton, we are also exploring a platform where you all can look at getting veterans to your workforce and participating. So MadREP is really starting to dive deep into not just regional economic development, but also how do we get the skill set and talent here that will fit the needs of your businesses. And so one of the two often overlooked areas are young folks to create a pipeline, and then quite honestly, veterans who have existing knowledge, but yet sometimes it's not easy for them to find places. So that's what you'll see coming from us as well. Any other questions about anything? Politics, you all want to get into that or no?
Well, let's thank Jason and Masha. That does conclude Fitchburg Focus this morning. So thank you.